They didn't argue. There was no fight, no shouting, no slammed doors. They just stopped, including me. I was still in the house, still sleeping there, still eating at the table, but decisions were being made without me. Plans were changing. Rooms were being discussed, and no one thought to tell me. I realized it slowly, not because someone said it, but because I was already no longer part of the conversation. My mother didn't sit down. She stayed standing near the counter. Her arms were crossed, not tightly, just enough to stay closed. I was at the table. My plate was still there, cold, untouched. She didn't look angry. She didn't look tired. She looked decided. She said my sister's name first. Then she said mine, as if she were organizing things out loud. "Your sister is going to take your room." That was it. No pause before, no pause after. I waited. Not for kindness, just for more words. None came. The refrigerator hummed behind her. The clock on the wall kept ticking. I noticed a crack near the ceiling. I had never seen it before. I nodded. Not because I agreed, because my body moved before my thoughts did. She added one more sentence. "You have 48 hours. She said it calmly, like she was reminding me of a deadline. I didn't ask why. I didn't ask where I was supposed to go. She turned back to the counter, picked up her phone. That was the end of it. I stayed at the table for a while. The chair across from me was empty. It stayed that way. I didn't start packing right away. I stayed in my room, the door half closed. I could hear drawers opening in the kitchen, paper sliding. My sister's voice, low. My mother's voice, steady. They were talking about space, about furniture, about what would fit. No one came to talk to me. After a while, I stood up. I pulled a suitcase from under the bed. The zipper was stuck. I worked it loose with my fingers. Slow. I folded one shirt, then another. I lined them up carefully, as if order might slow things down. My phone buzzed. A notification. Nothing important. I checked the time. 11:47. I put the phone face down. At lunch, my sister sat in my usual spot. She didn't look at me. She ate quietly. My mother passed her the salt. Their hands touched. No one passed anything to me. Later that afternoon, my mother walked past my door. She glanced inside. Just once. She saw the suitcase. She didn't stop. I kept packing. Shoes, books, things I hadn't touched in years. I found a photo at the back of a drawer. Me at 5, standing in the same room. I put it back. By evening, the floor was covered. Piles. Keep. Leave. Throw away. My brother walked by once. He slowed down, looked in, then kept going. Dinner happened without me. I could hear plates being set, chairs moving, laughter. Not loud. Comfortable. I checked the time again. 9:06. 1 day left. I lay down on the bed, fully dressed. The ceiling light was off. The hallway light stayed on. It came through the crack under the door. A thin line. I watched it until my eyes burned. Then I closed them. Nothing stopped. The next morning, my room looked smaller. The suitcase was still open, half full. My sister stood in the doorway. She didn't knock. She held a tape measure. She stretched it from the wall to the window. She wrote something down on her phone. Didn't say a word. She stepped around my clothes on the floor, careful not to touch them, like they didn't belong here anymore. My mother came in behind her. She looked around, not at me, at the room. "At night," she said, "you'll need to be gone." That was the warning. Not a question. Not a discussion. I nodded again. My sister placed a box on my bed. Inside were curtains. New, still folded. She moved my pillow to the chair. Didn't ask. My mother reached into her pocket. She held out her hand. "Leave your key on the counter when you go." I stared at it. The key was still in my pocket, warm from my body. I took it out, placed it in her palm. She closed her fingers around it. That was the sound. Metal against skin. Final. They left together. The door stayed open. I sat on the edge of the bed I had slept in since I was a kid. I picked up my phone. No messages. I stood up, finished packing. Each movement felt slower. When the suitcase was closed, the room echoed. I rolled it down the hallway, past the photos, past the bathroom. The counter was clear. I placed the key down. It stayed there. I didn't look back. I didn't drive far. I sat in the car with the engine off. The house lights were still on. I could see shadows moving behind the curtains. I checked my phone. No messages. I waited. The clock on the dashboard changed, then changed again. I called a friend. It rang, then stopped. I called another. Straight to voicemail. I didn't leave a message. I leaned the seat back. The air was cold. I kept my coat on. I watched people pass on the sidewalk. No one looked at me. At some point I drove. I don't remember choosing where. I parked near a closed store. A streetlight flickered above the car. It buzzed, then went quiet, then buzzed again. I didn't sleep. I stared at the roof of the car, counted my breaths. In the morning, my phone battery was low. Still no messages. I went to a gas station bathroom, washed my face, looked the same. I sat on a bench outside. People walked past with coffee cups, keys in their hands. Somewhere to go. I checked my phone again. I called my mother. It rang longer this time, then stopped. I sent a text. It stayed unread. I sat there until the sun moved, until the bench felt colder. That night I stayed in the car again. Same seat, same silence. The second night felt longer than the first. The third night felt the same. Nothing changed. No one called. No one checked. The phone stayed quiet, and so did I. On the fourth morning, I didn't check my phone right away. I sat in the car, hands on the steering wheel. The light was different, softer. I noticed a small crack in the windshield. I had never seen it before. I started the engine, drove to work. I didn't tell anyone where I had been sleeping. I worked my shift. I took the long way home. There was a room for rent 2 streets over, a paper sign taped to a window. Black letters, simple. I knocked. The place was small. 1 bed, 1 chair, a window that faced another wall. I said yes before thinking. That night I lay on the bed. The room smelled like detergent. I placed my phone on the floor, face down. I didn't wait for it to light up. I went to work the next day. Then the next. I stopped driving past the house. I stopped checking familiar places. I bought a plate, then a cup. I folded my clothes into 1 drawer. The room stayed quiet. So did I. Weeks later, my brother sent a message. "Mom asked about you." I read it once, then I deleted it. I didn't explain. I didn't respond. They hadn't argued. They hadn't fought. They had simply moved on. And at some point, so did I. I didn't need them to come back. I just needed to stop standing where I no longer belonged. So I did, and I closed the door.